Struck him out. Stand, baby. Let's play.
Happy you're with us here tonight for Mariners baseball on Root Sports, the third and final game of the series. The Mariners and the first place Houston Astros. Welcome inside gorgeous Safeco Field as the Mariners look to avoid the sweep tonight in advance of an off day tomorrow. Then the Angels coming to town. Young Andrew Moore, the 23-year-old rookie, making just his 7th career Major League start. He will face one of the best lineups in baseball, Mike.
They are first in average, first in run score. Slugging on base percentage, yeah, pretty good lineup. Starts with George Springer, lead things off. He leads the team with 31 home runs. Marwin Gonzalez hitting 6th in the lineup, having his best year, 21 home runs for him. Stassi and Campbell round out the 9 for Houston, both of them getting their first starts of the series. For Andrew Moore, 6 starts for him, a 1-3 record, 6.34 ERA, and 38-30, has 17 strikeouts, only 5 walks. He typically will throw a lot of strikes. And a look at the defense for the Mariners. Guillermo Heredia will get the start in center field. Yonder Alonso's really done a nice job defensively at first base for the Mariners, and Mike Zunino will do the catching. And for Andrew Moore in his last outing in the big leagues, 45 pitches against the Angels. Hitting at 2/3, 6 hits, 4 earned runs.
His one outing in relief this year. Everything else has been in the rotation as he starts George Springer off with strike 1. Astros now winning 6 in a row. Had their worst month of the season in August, but no signs of that now. A.J. Hinch and Houston looking to finish this year with the best record, trying to lock down home field advantage in the postseason. So this series and all of them mean a lot for the Astros. It's a nice start for Andrew Moore. Now, along those lines, Mike, this is worth revisiting. Only the Dodgers have a better record right now in the majors than the Houston Astros, and we know what the Indians have done recently. They have been red hot, so the Astros trying to keep pace, stay ahead.
Yeah, you can see Houston ahead of Cleveland, but Cleveland, one of the hottest teams in baseball. And A.J. Hinch saying that he wants to try to win as many games as possible. It's important for Houston, so we'll see what happens the rest of the way.
Indians have won 13 in a row entering today. Nothing but strikes early on. Starts off Bregman 0-1.
For Andrew Moore, his average fastball this year is 91 miles an hour.
Slap towards right. Haniger can't get there. Off the base of the wall. Bregman extra bases. A 1-out double.
And 33rd double on the year. Looks like a fastball and breaking ball. Maybe the slider. Going the other way with it. For Andrew Moore, again, his fastball at 91 miles an hour, has a slider, curveball, and changeup. So far this year at the big league level is off-speed pitches. He's used them all about the same. He will mix it up.
Good news for the Mariners. Jose Altuve not in the lineup. 1 out, a man in scoring position for Carlos Correa. Stares at strike 1. That's pretty interesting. If you look at the minor league game log, the last 4 times out for Moore before making the start today, Mike, all of those starts being about 4 innings. And what the Rainiers were doing, of course, had everything to do with what was going on here in Seattle. But basically, the starters were held to about 4 innings, giving the ability to have a longer relief guy following them. We know the Mariners need for that role for the last couple of months, and making it a possibility that if a Rainier starter needed to come up and fill that long role like we saw Moore do one time, maybe a little more ready, not quite as much wear and tear on the arm.
And probably to get them ready for what it takes to do that job. And I think that for Andrew today, we'll see how it goes for him. But again, we've talked about it for a number of the starters. Scott Service typically wants him to get through the lineup a couple of times, so that could be 4, maybe 5 innings.
Gallardo is available in the bullpen, as is Marco Gonzalez. So the Mariners need a little bit of length tonight. 2-2. For Moore, this is his 7th career major league start. It is his first since July 26th. A young man who has pitched at 3 levels this year, AA, AAA, and the majors. Hop with a little bit of a late twist on it to Segura. Handles it cleanly. 2 outs.
Andrew was really jamming him up. Probably had some pine tar on the baseball. Spinning sideways. Segura able to handle it. Good fastball in on his hands. And the keys from Miranda last night. He really pitched well. Yes, he had a lot of walks, but didn't give up a hit, and he was pitching inside. Big key.
It was his first quality start since the final days of July. That was nice to see for Miranda. Somebody who was so vital for the Mariners really all season. The only guy, as we all know, who has taken his turn every 5 days this season for the Mariners. 0-1 to Josh Reddick. First pitch strike to each of the first 4 hitters. You can see Reddick swinging an awfully hot bat. Moore trying to work around the 1-out double to Bregman.
A couple of change-ups to him.
Two. When Andrew Moore made his major league debut near the end of June, we saw him really start his big league career off with a flash. 3 straight quality starts, 7 innings, 8 innings, and 6 innings. Only 2 walks in those first 3 starts. Full count. Gurriel's had a nice series so far. He's on deck. That has been one of the impressive things for Moore this year in his very brief time in the Mariners rotation, with the exception of 1 outing. That was just after the All-Star break in Chicago. He's been able to go 6 every time. 6+.
Well, typically throws a lot of strikes, and we mentioned it with the home runs. Sometimes too many strikes in the middle of the plate. I'm a bit surprised they threw a fastball there in a 3-2 count with the lefty. Of the righty waiting on deck. Thought maybe he'd go back to his changeup. That's what he's tried to get him out with. And that was the changeup missing off the plate.
2-out walk. And we heard Scott Service Mike say today that changeup really is maybe calling it a critical pitch might be too strong, but that's the pitch that he really looks to see if Andrew has working or not.
Well, I think that he has to have it. Mentioned it again, his average fastball at 91 miles an hour, but if he's able to use his changeup, throw it for strikes, at times throw it off the plate and down, all of a sudden that fastball looks a little bit quicker coming up to the plate at 91, 92. As a hitter, it seems like it's about 95. There is a good fastball at 94 for him. So his changeup, I think it's an important pitch. He's going to have to add and subtract, pitch to both sides of the plate, use his breaking ball, and he's certainly capable of it.
Hammered foul, 0-2. Next pitch will be number 20 for Moore here in the first inning. A double and a walk, 2 outs. Moore's 0-2. Now, two guys the Mariners will not have to worry about facing tonight. Verlander going last night. Altuve getting the day off. A.J. Hinch trying to give him consecutive days off with the day off tomorrow, scheduled day off. Verlander probably happy he doesn't have to face Altuve anymore, and Altuve probably happy he does not have to face Verlander anymore. Reddick at first, Bregman at second base. Moore trying to send this one to the bottom of the first inning scoreless. Another foul ball.
He's having to throw a lot of pitches, but that's okay. Again, they're not looking for more to get deep into this game. Just want to keep the score down if he can. So if he has to work off the edges of the plate, again, change speeds. I saw Miranda do it yesterday.
Weak ground ball. Moore having a hustle with a bare hand to first base in time to get Gurriel. Moore, the Mariners stranded coupled. We go to the bottom of the first. Moments ago, Lance McCullers taking the mound for the first time in a while. Nearly 40 days since McCullers was up on a major league mound. Activated today for the disabled list because of back discomfort. Never an easy customer. He will face this Mariners lineup.
And the Mariners looking for some offense. So Yonder Alonso hitting second in the lineup, 4 for 5 in his career against McCullers. Robinson Cano, he's been a hot hitter, 3 for 4 last night. That is a good sign. And Kyle Seager, back-to-back games with the home run. Kyle now with 21 home runs on the year. And Mike Zunino over his last 18 games hitting .357 with 4 home runs. For McCullers, this will be his 20th start on the year, a 7-3 record, a 3.92 ERA. 118 strikeouts over 36 walks.
Now for McCullers, this is his third major league season. He's never made more than 22 starts in a single year. So when he has been healthy, he has been one of the best in the league, an all-star for the first time this year.
Mariners aware of what he features, and that is a curveball, a very good curveball, one of the best you're going to see, and he will throw it a lot. This will be the 4th start for McCullers against the Mariners this year. Good fastball, average at 94, but he'll touch 95, 96. Mentioned his curveball, opponents hitting under 200 against the curve.
Get a look at it there outside. Scott Service has spoken to this point before, Mike, about McCullers, that the velocity plus the extreme late movement on him making it so tough and so unique.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And when he throws his curveball, you just saw one, it's 86, 87 miles an hour. So throws it with everything that he has, and the late break is the problem.
A little bit of a different look for this Astros defense tonight, as we just saw the man at second.
Yeah, Tony Kemp is going to get the start in left field, his first start of the series. Marwin Gonzalez, who was in left field yesterday, now at second base. Altuve out of the lineup. Max Stassi will do the catching, his first start also. See if the Mariners want to run on him this evening.
One up, one down. Here is Yonder Alonso. Now, this is one of the reasons why Alonso was acquired by Jared Apoto, a left-handed bat to face tough right-handed pitching like McCullers. You look at his OPS, lefty versus righty, as he smacks this into center field. Squared it up, but chest high to Springer. Two outs for Cano. Robbie swinging a hot bat, Mike. 9 hits his last 4 games. Couple of home runs in that span, too.
Yeah, I mentioned it, 3 hits last night. The one out that he made took 11 pitches by Verlander. Ended up striking him out, but after that, it was 3 straight hits. All of them hit hard.
Fouls off 97.
That would be one of the better fastballs you see from McCullers.
Mike, if you look at the splits for McCullers, he's a reverse splits guy. Lefties have actually struggled more against him than right-handers, and righties have all but one of the home runs. Does that have something to do with the curve, or is it something else?
I'm not sure what it is, because if you, it's just the opposite. You look at the Mariners. We talked about Alonso, 4 for 5 against him. Cano hitting 350 in his career. Kyle Seager hitting 368. So the left-handers for the Mariners have done damage when apparently the rest of the league has struggled. That looks like a pretty good changeup.
The 1-2 to Robbie. Cruz waiting his turn on deck. Mariners trying to get him going. Time call. Well, whatever the film or the data or whatever it might be that the Astros looked at over the season on Cano, after Robbie torched the Astros last year, it has by and large worked. Last year, Robbie hit 351 against the Astros. Has not been near that level this year for whatever reason. We know that this is a pitching staff that will spin that breaking ball in there, and it's not just McCullers. Last year, Robbie had his way with Astros pitching for the most part. Also 9 home runs last year for Cano against the Astros. You can see what he's done this year, 211. Going after that curve once again for a strikeout from McCullers, who retires the side in order. An inning complete. very immediate concern for our dear friend and colleague Angie Mintink, and of course her family as well, after seeing her tweet earlier today, being diagnosed with breast cancer. And Mike, we know that she will pursue this with the exact same vigor that she has taken on everything else in her life. And Ange, we love you. We are with you every step of the way.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you again on Friday. Tough news today, but as you mentioned, she's as strong a woman as I've ever met. So,
no doubt about that. It means an awful lot to us, the Northwest, the Mariners. Looking forward to seeing you again, Ange. 23 pitches in the first for Andrew Moore. Ball one to Marwin Gonzalez, leading things off. Now 3 games against the Astros, 3 different positions for Marwin Gonzalez. First base, left field, and second base today.
We talked about it earlier in the series. Reminds me of Mark McLemore, who could play everywhere on the field, and that's the same for Gonzalez. Actually, I think he's a pretty good shortstop too, and it's a natural position, but he's learned to play everything. And with the way he swings the bat, they find a spot for him. He's in left field yesterday, at second base today. 21 home runs on the year, having his best offensive year. He's a much better left-handed this year.
Shift is on for him as he leads off the second. Cuts right through a high fastball. Saw the high target there from Zunino.
Yeah, I think Andrew is going to pitch around the edges of the plate, and after getting ahead 1-2, he's going to go towards the top of the strike zone, up out of the strike zone. It really ties him up. His fastball so far tonight has topped out at 94 miles an hour. Gets him to chase that.
Ball one to Beltran. Just like as they had it for Gonzalez, the Mariners have the shift on for Beltran. Two balls and a strike with 1 out.
There's the good changeup. Talked about it in the first inning. He threw it quite a bit, and an important pitch for him. Especially against the left-handed hitters. It's something that he can work down in a way, another elevated fastball.
Max Stassi, the catcher making his series debut, stands on deck. McCann getting the night off. Beltran, of course, one of only 2 active players to have played in the Kingdom, and the only active position player. Bartolo Colon, the other. That list quickly dwindling. Gamble underneath it, 2 outs. Well, the Mariners in Major League Baseball proudly celebrate Roberto Clemente Day, which recognizes one player from each club who best represents the game of baseball through positive contributions on and off the field. Congratulations to Robinson Cano on being named the Mariners 2017 award winner. Visit MLBcommunity.org to learn more. Tip of the cap to Robbie. Strike one to Stassi. If you go inside Clint Hurdle's office at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, he has one of the most beautiful paintings of Roberto Clemente right over his desk.
Is that right?
It is just gorgeous, and the statue outside the ballpark is
awesome. Yeah,
the biggest in the game, and for good reason. A man who finished his career with exactly 3,000 hits, who sadly passed away in a plane accident, a plane crash, trying to do goodwill, and a man who is, for all the right reasons, beloved around this game forever. especially for those from Puerto Rico. Easy ground ball out to Segura. And a nice 1-2-3 top of the second for young Andrew Moore. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Nelson Cruz coming to the plate. He'll be followed by Kyle Seager and then Mitch Haniger. Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Steel. To find your local Steel dealer, visit steeldealers.com. And by Primera Blue Cross, always in your corner. Nothing as we make our way to the bottom of the second inning. That's where Nelson Cruz will lead things off for the Mariners. You know, Mike, Nelson is 4 RBIs shy of tying a career best, and the way that Nelson has been driving in runs, 4 RBIs could come tonight.
it definitely can. Consider that he's hit right around 350 all year with runners in scoring position. In the last couple of days, he's looked a little bit better as far as his timing goes. Had a base hit last night, the ball hard back up the middle. He will get hot again. You can see how hard McCullers throws that curveball. 87 miles an hour on a curveball.
Count levels out 2-2 to Cruz beginning the bottom of the second. He'll be followed by Seager and then Haniger. Second strikeout from McCullers. Time now, Mike, to take a look at our Geico this date in big league history as we take a look at the plaque from the 0-1 All-Star game of Cal Ripken Jr. It was on this day back in '95 that Cal Ripken broke Lou Gehrig's consecutive game streak. Mike, put this in perspective for us. 2,131 straight games for the Iron Man.
It will never be touched again. It's one of those records. We've talked about all the different types of records that are out there that nobody is going to see, and I don't think that anybody will ever do that. I think that one is going to be his.
I mean, the president went to the game. President Clinton was there. That's how big of a deal this was.
Yeah, it's amazing to me, and a lot of changes in the game, and I'm not sure that anybody would be given the opportunity to do that in today's game. So tremendous record, and I think that will stand.
Cal Ripken Jr. more hits against the Mariners than any other player in baseball history. Just file that one away, Blow.
I like that. I did not know that.
Now you know what my winters are like. Inside. Oh, they're going to call strike, and it was to Seager. I suppose, you know, you think about it now, it would have to be, if the schedule is then like it is now, it would have to be somebody from within the division, right? Who spent a lot of time in your own division to have more hits against you than any other player, as this just goes foul. But at that point, when Cal was playing, the schedule was different. They're playing everybody the same amount.
Yeah, no, I think that you're absolutely right about that. But do you think that record will stand? I think it'll stand. I can't imagine
the games played.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if there's somebody who plays in 162 a year, it's pretty incredible. And if you go back to back on that, it's amazing as well to do it that many years in a row. I mean, just look at
it this way. A player of his stature, while he was in the middle of all of that, there were plenty of days where he came to the ballpark and his knee was barking. He wasn't feeling good. Something was wrong, and he still wanted to be in the lineup because he certainly would have been able to take himself out if he wanted to.
Now, Springer, a guy who played a full 162 a couple of years ago. He's on number 2.
And that most of the way he was playing at shortstop.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough position, and I just don't see it happening. And look, Seattle is very lucky that they have Cano who's in the lineup all the time. Kyle wants to play every day. Nelson is in there, but they still get a day or two off along the way. Just because, to me, I think it's healthy to do that.
2 outs for Haniger. 11 hits his last 6 games. Right to Correa. Throws a fastball to first. 6 up, 6 down for Lance McCullers. We're through 2 scoreless. On to the top of the 3rd here inside Safeco Field. We'll join the Mariners and EQC for Guys Night Out this Friday against the Angels. For only $40, fans can score a ticket, a Mariners beanie, and a drink voucher. The special offer is available only at mariners.com/guys. Well, plenty of first pitch strikes for Andrew Moore. So he starts this at bat with Tony Kemp batting 9th. Only 12 at bats in the majors this year. Gets to Cano quickly. There is at number 1.
9 batters faced, 7 first pitch strikes.
It was fun talking with Andrew Moore a little bit this winter when he came out to Safeco Field. And And to talk to him a little bit about his Northwest roots, Mike, because you can relate to this. A kid who grew up in Washington playing for the Mariners, a little bit different for Andrew, but from the region, still pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
very cool.
You think about his upbringing, going to high school in Eugene, so you would think that he would be partial to the Ducks, and the Ducks who went so long, decades, without a baseball program. And then what do you know it, the Beavs start playing awfully well, and then all of a sudden the Ducks start to develop a baseball program. They might want a slice of that pie. This is shot by Springer out to Heredia, who tracks it down in center field. And as you can imagine, the Ducks pushed awfully hard to get Andrew Moore to stay in town in Eugene.
I'm sure they did. Why wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Guillermo has played great in the outfield all year.
But Andrew telling us over the winter that, and you can imagine why, he was drawn to Corvallis and that program that they have developed there. We had a chance to see Michael Conforto earlier this summer with the Mets. Their all-star outfielder. Conforto had quite the series here at Safeco Field, his first time playing here. Right, with a high fly ball, easy play in right field for Haniger. And the former Beav carving through the Astros very quickly in the top of the third. And Bremerton, we're saying hi. Welcome to the ballpark. And you've got as good of a cheering section as anybody here.
You bet.
This is impressive. Some quality signage. Doris, we hope you're doing well. It's on to the bottom of the third inning. Final game of the series. Astros winning the first two. Mariners looking for the win here tonight against McCullers. Misses with ball one to Ben Gamble. Mike, so far from McCullers, we've seen the outs evenly distributed. 2 strikeouts, 2 fly ball outs, 2 ground ball outs. To me, you look at the numbers for McCullers this year, Mike. This is what the most impressive thing. We know about the fastball, we know about the curveball, but this year he has taken an enormous leap in his ground ball rate. The only guy with a better ground ball rate in baseball is somebody he shares a rotation with, Dallas Keuchel.
Yeah, and you can pick a pitch. His fastball at 67%, his curveball at 65%. Even his changeup at 56%. So yes, he's doing an excellent job keeping the ball on the ground. They're giving up 6 home runs this year.
Gambo's had 3-0 now, full count.
Aaron, you were talking about him being hurt, and he has been a number of times, but I've also seen it quite a bit of him. And he will not give in to you, and there's another breaking ball.
Reddick's got a Gold Glove, and he's showing us why. That is a heck of a catch. That is our Big Fish Casino big catch, and we have seen plenty of this from Reddick over the years, Mike.
Yeah, and just some terrible luck for Gamble, who hits it right on the button. The 3-2 breaking ball. See the tremendous effort by Reddick in right field. Also has a strong throwing arm, but a very good defender, and he takes a hit away from Ben Gamble.
Strike one to Zunino.
For McCullers, he has topped out at 97 miles an hour. We've seen his curveball at 87.
Rung up on the corner at 96. Third strikeout for McCullers, his first with something other than the curve.
And after the breaking ball, just a good fastball on the outside corner.
Already a batting ninth his first time up.
Again for McCullers, just off the disabled list. That's good stuff tonight, but his pitch count will probably be somewhere 80-85 pitches. So far just 35 pitches as he works his way through the third.
Well, you never know what you're going to see from a guy who hasn't pitched in nearly 40 days, but this is looking a lot like the McCullers we're used to seeing.
He's throwing a lot of strikes, 35 pitches, 24 strikes, first pitch strikes, 9 batters. He's thrown 6 first pitch strikes, and he's already shown that he will throw his breaking ball when he's behind in the count and throw it for a strike. So it's difficult. And that's the reason why he's had the numbers that he's had against the Mariners. He's typically on top of his game.
Think about the misfortune for the Mariners in this series. They are facing the projected 1, 2, 3 of the postseason for the Astros.
Yeah, it's tough.
Keuchel in game 1, Verlander last night, McCullers this evening.
And for the Mariners, again, scoring just the 3 runs through the first 2 games.
Where's Mike Fiers when you need him? Fiers went into the game before this series for the Astros, was knocked around a little bit. It kind of goes to show you, Mike, that even for a team that has been impressive this year as the Astros, they still were looking for starting pitching help at both deadlines because of injury and poor performance.
Yeah, it's tough to find. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Bregman at third base and on the grass. 9 up, 9 down from Lance McCullers. Take a look now, Mike, at tonight's T-Mobile Unlimited Baseball break. Now, it's the other league, but we got to take note of this. The Diamondbacks, Mike, won 12 in a row. They're averaging over 6 runs a game. Their staff ERA is sub-2 with a plus 51 run differential. They fell behind in the first inning tonight against the Dodgers, Mike. That's the first time. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
In 98 innings that they have trailed. They haven't trailed in 10 games before tonight. Not even for an inning.
That is amazing. I mean, really.
Seriously. Torey Lovuto, their first-year manager, having a heck of a job done this year.
Yeah.
They've had a fantastic
That's a pretty good
season.
starting pitching.
You're right. Greinke's looking more like the Greinke of old this year. Last year was such an anticipated year for the Diamondbacks for a variety of reasons, and it just fell absolutely flat. The Diamondbacks trailing the Dodgers by 11.5 games in the West. And keep in mind, World Series home field advantage. It comes down simply to wins and losses. Not if you're a division winner or not.
Best record, yeah.
In foul territory, Alonso is there. Take a look at our CenturyLink What's Next. A day off tomorrow. And then the red hot Angels of Anaheim come to town. Mike Leake versus Ricky Nolasco in game 1 of that series. Albers versus Andrew Heaney. Erasmo Ramirez, day baseball from Safeco Field, up against Parker Bridwell. Leake will be making his second start in a Mariners uniform. As of a couple of days ago, we were scheduled to see Leake tonight, if you recall, but Scott is just trying to give him another day or two, and also he likes the matchup he set against the Angels.
Yep.
Reddick a walk earlier. Smoke to the gap, right center. Heredia trying to chase it down, gets there with a backhand and holds Reddick to a single.
And a solid line drive. We talked about Reddick. One of his better years. He has been a hot hitter. Came into the game hitting .310, 74 RBIs on the year.
That's Knapp's 8 in a row set down by Andrew Moore, now facing Gurriel. Been enjoyable talking to Andrew Moore about his relationship with Jamie Moyer. Mike, does it surprise you that Jamie likes to talk about pitching?
Not at all. And it was fun to watch during spring training. You mentioned earlier Andrew in spring training, but on the days that he wasn't pitching, he and Jamie were sitting right there in the dugout on the bench watching the game, and it seemed as if they were having conversations for 3, 4, 5 innings at times.
Talking about the changeup among other things?
I would think so. Yep.
Well, Jamie was famous for his little black book that he kept on opposing hitters. And this is something that Andrew Moore adopted a number of years ago in the minor leagues, keeping a log on opposing hitters, which I can't imagine, Mike, how difficult that would be in the minors with all the up and down.
Yeah, it would be tough.
A little bit easier in the majors.
It's a good habit to get into, though.
1-out walk. That pushes Reddick into second base. Gurriel aboard for the first time.
Second walk for Andrew.
Indians continue to roll. My goodness. They take down the rebuilding White Sox. So for the Indians, that has pushed their win streak to 14 in a row. One out, 2 on for Marwin Gonzalez, who struck out in the second. The only strikeout so far. Oh, I beg your pardon, the second. You know, talking about that log, that journal of opposing hitters, I couldn't help but think for Andrew what it must have been like after one of his first starts was against the Tigers, and he wrote down Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah.
A little different all of a sudden.
I thought it was a bit surprising for me, and maybe you would look at it differently or think of it differently, but you mentioned Jamie in that book that he had. He would write in that in between innings. I always thought it was something that he would do after the game, just take his notes and kind of think about the game or watch video. He had it in the dugout.
Gonzalez to the gap at right center. Haniger and Heredia having to chase this off the wall. Reddick coming around to score. Gurriel trying to go first to home, and he does. It's 2-0 Astros.
And for Gonzalez, we talked about it as having his best year. And that's an off-speed pitch in the middle of the plate. Belt high. Drives it into the gap. It's going to hit the wall on the fly.
Beltran goes after the first pitch and pops it up. Segura calls off Seager. 2 outs. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but I believe, from what I remember, what I've been told, that for Jamie, that little black book, he also had some detailed reports on umpires and what the zone was like.
Yeah.
This wasn't just hitters.
No, all that was very important to him. Jamie was well aware of the fact that he could not pitch in the middle of the plate, and he would try to expand the zone. Some umpires would let you do that a little bit easier. I remember asking him one time, well, what would you do if the umpire just is not going to give you that two-seam fastball or changeup on the outside corner or just off the corner? What do you do? I mean, eventually you have to pitch on the plate. And Jamie said, nope, I'm going to stay right there until he starts calling it. He said, because I cannot pitch in the middle of the plate. I'm aware of that, so he's going to have to start making that call.
Gonzalez dangling off the bag at second. Seager chasing it back to Segura. Back and forth we go until the tag is applied, and that ends the inning. A.J. Hinch will mark that down in his little black book. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Astros have taken the lead. By CHI Franciscan Health, the Mariners' official partners in health. Learn to stay Northwest healthy at nwhealthy.org. By Safeco Insurance, find a local agent at safeco.com. Do more. And by your local Toyota dealers. For all Toyota offers, go to buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Mariners trying to solve the riddle that is Lance McCullers. 9 up, 9 down so far. And here is Segura for the second time around.
Hopefully they can make some adjustments. Second time through the lineups. Segura grounding out to the second baseman on the curveball his first time up.
Shot to center, turns Springer around. Springer running out of room, but he's got just enough to make the catch. One up, one down. Here is Alonso. You take a look at the glove from Lance McCullers. This is the exact glove as worn by the late great Jose Fernandez. McCullers, a very good friend of Jose's. In fact, they trained together in high school, both in the Tampa area. Two guys that knew each other very well coming up through the minors, into pro ball, into the majors. And Mike, how about this that we saw as McCullers was warming up? Describe what he's doing here.
Well, it's basically it's a weighted ball. It's obviously, I don't think it's quite as big as a softball, but definitely bigger than a baseball. And he's not throwing it. He's not doing anything. He's just getting a feel for it. You see him throw the baseball, and then he'll put that ball immediately in his hand. So there's the weight of it, and then there's the size of it, so that when he puts the baseball in his hand, it feels smaller and much lighter. And if you talk to guys, they feel that because of that, they get the feeling of arm speed and the ball really jumping out of their hand when they throw it. The Mariners have a number of guys in their bullpen that have a weighted ball that they actually play catch with. It's nothing that they're trying to throw very hard, but they get loose with it, and it just gives them the feeling so that when they grab the baseball, they feel like they can throw it right through the catcher.
Two quick outs for Cano.
And there are some that, with the weighted ball and throwing it, there's some that like it, some that don't. Their teachers have different thoughts and ideas on it. He obviously was not throwing that one, but just the feel and the weight of it. It's kind of like a hitter with a donut on his bat.
I'll tell you somebody who's a big advocate of the heavy ball, who will pitch forever, Mike. Fernando Rodney. He will pitch forever. He's 40 years old. He's just picked up his 35th save of the season for the Diamondbacks recently.
He's getting plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, you're right. Set the single season franchise record for saves back in 2014 with the Mariners. Knocked down 48 of them. Led the majors that year. Was eventually DFA'd by the Mariners. Was traded last year from the Padres over to the Marlins. Now this year in the desert. One of the more entertaining players to ever put on a Mariners uniform. Cano take it all the way, 3-1.
When he was here, typically a lot of conversation around Rodney.
You couldn't understand some of it.
No, I'm just talking about people talking about him, and you know, high wire act as a closer and great stuff.
First base runner for the Mariners, a 2-out walk to Cano.
Or when he would get the save, his
he and Lomo were the
finishing the game was entertaining, and they would add to it.
You know, I one time asked Fernando, and this was in a public forum. One time I asked him, you know, Fernando, you don't work until typically 10 o'clock at night, right? You have your pregame, but once the game starts, you're resting until the 10th. I said, what do you do? I said, I take a nap. Said,
Great answer.
I said, you're not serious. I nap in the clubhouse.
Great answer.
It was a great answer, and one that Fernando could pull off beautifully. 2 outs for Nelson Cruz. I'll tell you something about Rodney that was pretty special. There aren't many guys, Mike. We saw it a couple of times for Fernando. He could pitch up to 4 days in a row, and he didn't lose a tick on that fastball.
I think he could probably pitch 5 days in a row. I really did, because you're right. He was durable, never lost velocity, great changeup.
High the opposite way. Reddick in towards the corner, makes the catch. That'll end the inning. Cano, the lone man to reach through 4 innings, a 2-out walk, left stranded. Astros lead 2-0. September 22nd is Fan Appreciation Night, presented by Emirates Airline and Holland American Line. We'll have great prize giveaways throughout the night. After the game, we say thanks with one of the biggest fireworks shows of the season, courtesy of T-Mobile. Tickets at mariners.com. Tell you what, that'll be the 5th and final fireworks night of the year. One of the best tickets in town. Most post-game fireworks on Friday nights. Hope to see you out there. Should be a good one against the Indians. Max Stassi, the number 8 hitting catcher, looks at a 1-1 count now.
You can see 63 pitches for Andrew, 40 strikes. Expecting him to go 4, possibly 5 innings. Dan Altavilla getting loose in the pen for the Mariners. There's Dan.
Strikeout to begin the top of the 5th. 3rd strikeout tonight for Andrew Moore. That brings up Tony Kemp. Now, Mike, we've talked about Moore's changeup, and there has been such an emphasis simply because of how incredible power sliders and curveballs are in the game. We see McCullers tonight with that curveball. We see guys throwing 90 to 91 mile an hour sliders
last night with his slider. Yeah.
But you have a young son in college pitching, and I have to wonder why the changeup isn't a pitch of emphasis more often, because, well, you just don't see good changeups that often. I know it's a very difficult pitch to master, such a field pitch, but you could have such an advantage, I'd have to think, if you're a young pitcher coming up with that in your arsenal.
I think that when you look at the game overall, and we talk about it nightly, Aaron, is the power arms, and that's what everybody is talking about, and that is how to increase velocity and all the different things that they do. And so because of that, the changeup is the furthest thing on their mind. It is trying to get the velo, the mid 90s, and typically they'll have a slider or a cutter to go with it. And the changeup is kind of out of the equation. We don't seem to see the split as often anymore. So it's kind of it's a lot like the hitting. Look, home runs off the chart, strikeouts the same. It's an all or nothing thing. It's just the game has changed.
Nothing's more lame than being a gap to gap hitter. You're not going to make any friends with that approach.
Yeah, it's where it's at right now. I don't know if it'll change back or if they start to look at it differently. Probably with the way everybody looks at the game now and the data that they can come up with, who knows, it may change, but right now that's what it's about. And there, to my point, there's the swing right there.
Springer 0 for 2 so far tonight. Pops this a mile high up the line. Alonso calling for it, foul territory. How about this one tonight for Andrew Moore? He's faced the minimum for the 3rd time now in 5 innings. Lead as we make our way to the bottom of the 5th inning. Create a lifetime memory for your kids when you bring them to Sunday's KeyBank Run Around the Bases following the Mariners-Angels game. All youngsters 14 and under will be invited to circle the diamond just like their favorite Mariners. So just head on over to mariners.com to pick up your tickets. Big series coming up Friday, Saturday, Sunday here from Safeco Field. Mariners and the Angels. Those two teams neck and neck for that second wild card. Seager leads off the home 5th, facing McCullers. Big news for the Angels yesterday, getting Garrett Richards back, who had made 1 start back in April, then did not pick up a ball, did not throw until after the All-Star break with a bicep issue. Shot to center. Springer picking up some speed. Looking up. 3 straight games. Kyle Seager going deep. He has done all the damage this series for the Astros. He has put the Mariners on the board. Number 22.
Well, the first 2 home runs in the series were out to right field. 85 miles an hour on that breaking ball and didn't do much. It's kind of spinning in the middle of the plate. Kyle takes care of it. 22nd home run on the year.
Mike, we're seeing home runs from Seager recently to territories that he does not often venture to.
No, I would agree. Talked about his power being to right field, but this year a number of times he's gone out to center, even left center.
I've got a pretty short elite list for you this year, Mike.
Okay.
Mike Moustakas and Kyle Seager.
A couple of third basemen.
That is true.
Okay.
The only
left-handed hitting third baseman.
The only 2 left-handers to homer against McCullers this season. Stays fair. What a nifty pick by Bregman. That is a heck of a big league play. Wow.
Tough break for Haniger. A lot of topspin on it. The second hop is in between. You can see him giving some ground, catches it kind of in the heel of the glove, but gets rid of it quickly in a strong throw. Gurriel, the first baseman, keeps his toe on the bag.
Mitch kind of had that look, Mike, as if to say, seriously?
No, I think he thought he had a hit.
Yeah.
I would have. Pretty good defensive play. They've made a couple of them tonight. Reddick in right field, they will take a hit away from Gamble. Steps in.
Chopped off the plate. Stays fair. Over to Gurriel at first base. 2 down. A couple of ground ball outs in back of the lone hit for the Mariners so far tonight. Kyle Seager's leadoff smash. Think about the home run rate for McCullers this year, or lack thereof. The way the ball is flying out of the yard this year, McCullers has pitched over 100 innings, 7 home runs allowed. That's incredible.
And consider his home ballpark too.
Good point. Goes back to the conversation on ground ball rate for him. Oh my goodness. Up and in. Zunino, okay. At 94.
Wow, off the bill of his cap, of his helmet. That is scary. That is a little bit too close.
Two-out base runner for the Mariners. Ready and going after the first pitch. Easy play for Correa. That will end the bottom of the 5th. How about Kyle Seager? He has driven in each and every run this series for the Mariners, including this home run number 22. He has homered in 3 consecutive games. Mariners on the board as we begin the 6th inning. We'll take a look at the Mariners calendar, brought to you by Mattress Firm. Tomorrow, a day off for the Mariners. This is going to be a big weekend series against the Angels. We hope to see you right here at Safeco Field Friday, Saturday, Sunday against Anaheim. The Mariners hit the road to Texas, the Rangers, then the Astros, and then they face the Rangers right back again at Safeco Field. Homestand beginning on the 19th, and we'll bridge into the series against the Cleveland Indians. On the first pitch, Bregman aloft out to right field. Haniger is there to put it away on number 1.
And we were talking about it, Aaron. I think again for Andrew Moore, we thought 4, maybe 5 innings, but he's been throwing the ball so well that Scott Service is staying with him. So like Pazos is getting loose now, the hard throwing left-hander for the Mariners. It was Dan Altavilla last inning, but it was a 1-2-3 inning, so he's going to run him back out there and gets quick out here in the 6th.
Ball one to Correa. Well, I don't think Scott knows how to deal with the starting pitcher working into the 6th inning for the 4th straight day. This he has not felt in a while. To Gamble, back-to-back fly ball outs.
We haven't talked about this in quite a while, but going to have to find a way to get his bullpen some work.
Yeah, you're right. This is a problem that Scott would love to have. I think more than anything, Mike, one of the impressive things tonight from Moore, how quickly he's been able to get most of these outs.
Well, we talked about it. He's somebody that is going to be around the plate. He throws a lot of strikes. A couple of walks for him today, which is rare to see. But I think the quality of the strikes have been there for him. And if you're throwing strikes and working ahead, you're going to make the hitter swing the bats.
Now this inning, he doesn't even work up a sweat. Bobbled by Gamble. Obviously an error.
Well, we just have not seen this all year. Right off the top of his glove. And it seems that most of the time, as Mel Stottlemyre Jr. will make a trip out to the mound. Andrew now at 79 pitches, but most of the time we see Ben Gamble, typically he uses 2 hands on just about everything.
Right.
The outfield this year has played so well, and he just made a mistake. think it's a good move for Andrew. He thought he was out of the inning, done right there. All of a sudden the mistake happens. There's an error out there, and he's back on the mound. And this game's means so much, and it's close right now. You don't want him to lose concentration and make a mistake in the middle of the plate to a very good hitter.
Gurriel, a home run earlier this series. On the first pitch, out to Cano. No problems for Andrew Moore, as he has spun 6 very effective innings. That's 4 consecutive quality starts out of this Mariners rotation. Out of the 6th inning. Get Standard Train and Link Light Rail tickets right to your phone. Writing is easy with the Transit Go Ticket app. Segura leads off the home 6th. The gap in left center field. This drops in for a base hit all the way to the base of the wall. Segura steaming into third base. Here he comes. He gets in there with a headlong slide and no throw. Leadoff triple. The Mariners have the tie and run 90 feet from home.
And for Gene Segura, he makes the adjustment. You can see him set up away. Breaking ball down in the strike zone. He just stays with it, barrels it up. He gets around first base and sees where the ball is at, and that's when he really kicked it into gear. Said he was going to go for the triple, and he makes it easily.
His second triple this year.
Infield in.
And the bullpen starts to stir. Liriano, Will Harris as well. An appeal. Mike, it sounded as though you said that with some surprise infielding. Did I misread that?
Yeah, no, I was a little bit surprised to see that. You don't have anybody out. I think most of the time at this point in the game, you are in the 6th inning, but you think that you want to stay away from a big inning. really shortened up the range of the infielders by bringing them in. And maybe not as surprised if there had been one out, but with nobody out, a little bit surprising.
Two and two on Alonso.
The other part about it too is for A.J. Hinch. He's had the best offense in the American League. For McCullers, 70 pitches. Talked about it before the game, just off the disabled list. He's scheduled to go 80 to 85.
Stassi and McCullers to talk things over.
A number of times tonight, the two of them trying to get on the same page. McCann, the everyday catcher, getting a night off.
Alonso batting with the tying run. Segura at third base after the leadoff triple. Cracked right field side, but foul. Now, I don't know, Mike, if I'm Alonso, I know that I've taken Chapman out to center field on 101 miles an hour, and maybe this doesn't look so ferocious after all.
That is true.
Another 2-2. Cut on and missed. The curveball rears its ugly head again from McCullers. One out. The 2017 Bobblehead Series concludes this Saturday with Robinson Cano Bobblehead Night. Thanks to Root Sports. The first 20,000 fans will take home this collectible of the hard-hitting second baseman. So just swing on over Mariners.com to pick up your tickets.
See what Robbie can do. Strikeout, swinging, and a walk for him so far tonight.
First pitch, left field, tied game. That leadoff triple trots in from third base, and Cano makes this 2-2.
Going to be aggressive, fastball running, probably off of the outside corner, like a ball. Hits it towards the end of the bat. It gets enough of it. Mentioned the 3 hits he was able to pick up last night. And 11 pitches in his first at bat, and after that he was very aggressive.
He is the first Mariners hitter not named Kyle Seager to drive in a run this series. Ball 1 to Cruz. Center field as McCullers spills down the mound. Cano to second. Cruz his first hit. Third time through the order. The Mariners a triple, now a couple of singles.
And a solid base hit right back up the middle. He had a hit yesterday up the middle. Solid line drive. This is a ground ball. A.J. Hinch out of the dugout quickly. Kyle Seager due up. Kyle with a home run his last time up. He's going to make a pitching change.
Mariners knock McCullers out here in the 6th. Ball game tied at 2.
Sports Desk. How about a little hashtag Where I Root presented by Alaska Airlines. Cassandra, good enough to send this in. Nurses from Seattle Children's Hospital here at the game tonight. Great to have you. They do awesome work. Katie Fisher, this is 6-day-old Jacob. Thinks the Mariners got this. Look at that smile on his face already. Congratulations. And Michael sending in this picture of Kai and Quentin. Oh, fellas, you don't know it right now, but you are living the dream in Maui. Enjoy your time in Hawaii. The night is over for Lance McCullers Jr. 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 76 pitches tonight, 2 runs, both earned. In terms of who's next on the mound for the Astros, we send it upstairs to Mike Blowers.
Francisco Liriano, the left-hander, going to take over 30 appearances on the year. 5.87 ERA, 78 strikeouts in 92 innings, 51 walks. Command has been an issue for him. He's given up 11 home runs.
Left on left facing Seager. Go ahead run at second.
And starts him with a slider. Typically 2 left-handed hitters, he's going to stay with the fastball slider combination. He'll use a changeup to the righties. His fastball on average this year at 94.
Liriano working exclusively as a starter for the Blue Jays this year before being traded to the Astros. 18 starts for the Blue Jays, an ERA pushing 6. And the ERA not much better with Houston. Working exclusively as a reliever. 2 on 1 out. Bregman hustling to third base, the only play that he's got. That's it for Cano. Seager at first, Cruz at second base, 2 down for Haniger.
And looks like that'll be it for Liriano. I believe it was Will Harris getting loose.
We'll be seeing the former All-Star right now, tied at 2. threatening bottom of the 6th. Another Coors Light Silver Bullet Saturday is this weekend. The first 400 fans 21 and older in the pen during an early happy hour receive a Silver Bullet Saturday t-shirt and extended happy hour pricing up until first pitch. Always a fun time out of the pen. Well, the Mariners will now have to deal with a guy who was in the All-Star game last year, Will Harris. Spent some time with the disabled list this year. But Mike, when he's been right, he's been pretty filthy.
Has been very good. Fastball, cutter, curveball for him. 37 appearances, a 3.13 ERA, 42 strikeouts, over 5 walks. So great command of the strike zone. Opponent's hitting just 220 off of him. His cutter will be about 92 miles an hour, and he will throw it a lot.
First pitch to Haniger. Missing ball 1. Right-handers hitting just .213 this year against Harris. Haniger ahead 2-0. Close call there. Into center field. Here comes Cruz. He steams around third base. Springer's throw home. Not in time. The Mariners are on top. Mitch Haniger has given the Mariners their first lead this series. Our Columbia Bank difference in the game, Mike.
And Mitch has been a hot hitter for the Mariners, and a clutch base hit. There, you just mentioned that right-hander's not hitting much at all off of Harris. But Mitch Haniger starting to look a lot like he did in April. You see the hustling Nelson Cruz, and he'll score to give the Mariners the lead.
Now Ben Gamble. Brent Strom out along with Stassi. McCullers does not seem too pleased the way things have gone now. Runners on the corners for Gamble. Stassi, a good stop. Right back to Harris. Lobs to first. That ends the inning. Well, the Mariners grab a couple of runs. Cano ties it up. Haniger puts the Mariners ahead. How about this one tonight for Andrew Moore? We heard Scott Servais saying that he would truly take it inning by inning, and well, he was able to do that for 6 innings tonight.
Yeah, quality start for him. 6 innings, a couple of runs. They were earned, but really threw the ball well. Had a really good changeup tonight. Fastball topped out at 94 miles an hour. 6 innings, 3 hits. Mentioned a couple of runs. They were earned. 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 80 pitches for him.
4th straight quality start out of this Mariners rotation. Our Beacon Plumbing called to the pen. Left-handed Mark Szybczynski up on the mound now for the Mariners.
56 appearances on the year, a 2-1 record, 3.72 ERA, 24 strikeouts. Was hitting .238 against Mark. Good sinking fastball at 92 miles an hour. Slider, occasional changeup to the right-handed hitters.
And by the way, for what it's worth, the RBI for Haniger giving the Mariners their first lead this series since the first inning in Game 1 when Seager put the Mariners up early 1-0. Cano tied it. Haniger has made it 3-2. He's really been pretty dialed in recently, Mike.
He has been swinging the bat well. It's good to see. Just stay healthy. He's just been hurt a number of times this year on the DL. Cost him a lot of games. Switch hitter Marwin Gonzalez going to lead off for Houston.
Starts him off strike 1.
The rest of the way here, one of the things that you need to keep in mind is there's a pretty good hitter on the bench for Houston. As this game unfolds, they have Altuve, did not start today, getting a night off. Does not mean he won't pinch hit late.
Into right field, and right away the Astros have the tying run aboard. Gonzalez hustling to second base. Here's a long throw, but it's offline. Second double tonight for Marwin Gonzalez.
And going the other way. There's the sinking fastball. Slicing line drive. Pretty good play by Mitch to cut it off. He has a strong throwing arm. He had to get it back in quickly. It looked like he was a little bit flat footed, so the throw was wide to the base.
Tying run now at second. Segura charging it. Make sure Gonzalez stays put. There's one out.
Also mentioned Brian McCann on the bench. Scott Servais going to stay with Szybczynski, even though the right-handed hitter Stassi in there. I don't think he wants to see McCann.
Last 2 times out for Szybczynski, not his normal self. Did not record an out either time. That was Sunday and Monday. Did not work yesterday.
Maven on deck. Looks like he will hit for Tony Kemp. And a big home run in last night's game. 2-run home run to give him the lead.
Altuve trying to stay busy. Looking to pick up his 4th straight 200 hit season. Mariners happy he's in the dugout, at least right now. 3-1. Mike, we were talking about how quickly Andrew Moore was able to get outs, and at least by my count over those 6 innings, he had a 3-ball count 3 times. He just simply was throwing strikes tonight.
It's been his strength, and since he was first called up, he's been able to throw a lot of strikes. Again, I thought that the key to it was a lot of quality strikes from him tonight with a really good changeup.
Here comes Zunino. Take a look at our CenturyLink What's Next. Mariners have a day off tomorrow. They'll be welcoming the Angels to town after that. The 3-2. Boston ball 4. Stassi aboard. Gonzalez stays put after the double. And it is Cameron Maybin coming to the plate.
And Scott Service hears that he's announced and is on his way out of the dugout.
We've got a pitching change. Vincent warmed up and ready to go. The lead 3-2 with the Astros threatening 1-out runners at first and second base. Sapchinski is done after a third of an inning. Leaves Gonzalez at second, Stassi the walk at first, and here is Nick Vincent.
And Nick has really pitched well for the Mariners this year. He's been as steady as anybody they've had out in the bullpen. Fastball right around 90 miles an hour, has a cutter 87, 88. And also mix in a slider. He will face Maybin, who was announced.
We saw Vincent on Monday do something that he had not done all season long, that is allow a run here at his home ballpark. A remarkable streak. I guess you could say to begin the season, even though we are now at the end of the season. As you can see the total numbers here.
Yeah, his ERA under 2, but he didn't. Aaron mentioned gave up a couple of runs or a run, and now to 2.16.
Tying run at second, go ahead at first.
Houston so far tonight 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position.
One and one. Vincent's 2-1. Evens it up 2-2.
And typical for Nick against the right-hander. Everything away from him. Every now and then he'll elevate his fastball 90, 91 miles an hour at the top of the strike zone. And all those pitches away.
Full count. Now after Maben, you turn this lineup over and you start looking at Springer, Bregman, Correa. The 3-2. Check swing. He goes. Much needed out, number 2.
And the only time he decided to pitch him inside, borderline, probably just off the inside corner, and Maben not able to hold up. So 5 pitches away from him, and the 6th pitch just off the inside corner to get the strikeout.
Two on, 2 down, tying run in scoring position. Gonzalez. In steps George Springer. Ball 1. Zunino and Vincent will talk. Well, this is when you start thinking about how leadoff hitters in baseball have started to change. They've begun to have a little bit of a different identity. This is no longer a leadoff hitter who's going to swipe 30 bags and hit 290. This is, or 310. This is a leadoff hitter with over 30 bombs, and he's coming to the plate here with 2 on and 2 out. And as we've heard A.J. Hinch say, instant offense, one more at bat for Springer at night. And it's for situations like this.
Similar to Springer, Charlie Blackmon in the National League playing for the Rockies, having the same type of year.
A little loop, center field. Gonzalez burns to third, coming home. Heredia's throw cut. Tied game.
And a fastball in the inside corner hits his location. It jams him, but he just fights it off and will pick up the base hit. Derek Fisher going to pinch run.
Running for Stassi at second. We saw Fisher in the same role the other night. Ball 1 to Bregman. For a guy who throws strikes all the time in Vincent, something we're not used to seeing. Ball 1 to each of the first 3 hitters. Martez in the bullpen. We have seen him before this year. One of the Astros' top pitching prospects.
And typical when Nick is on the mound, nobody getting loose in the Mariner pen.
One and 2. Go ahead run at second base. Fisher. Springer at first, Fisher at second. The 2-2. A weak wave and a miss. That ends the top of the 7th. A run is in to tie it up, but 2 are stranded. Stretch your imagination like never before. Played today. On to the last of the 7th. This game suddenly tied even at 3. Mike Zunino will lead things off in the home 7th for the Mariners. As we take a look, Mike, now at our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. This is pretty interesting stuff on Zunino this season. Mike, you talk about the advantage of getting ahead of the count versus being behind. How about these numbers when Mike is ahead of the count? You can see the average, the OPS over 1,200, and an on base, by the way, pushing 500.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. You look at the league average, 3-1 count in the league. They're hitting 366. So I think the thing with Mike more than anything is just stay aggressive. Typically, when he's aggressive early in counts, getting the fastball that he wants to hit, he can put it in play. Good things happen. Goes after the first pitch here, pops it up. Juan Centeno, the new catcher, makes the 2-hand catch.
Number 5, the air ball already.
You saw Centeno off the bench last night. And steps Heredia.
Martez. His average fastball 96 miles an hour, has a curveball and a changeup to go with it. Changeup's at 90. There you go. 24 appearances, ERA just under 5. 60 strikeouts, 47 innings. He's hitting .237 against him. He's given up 5 home runs. Emilio Pagan starting to get loose in the Mariner pen.
We saw Emilio last night. Strike three called. Two up, two down. MLB.TV every night, every device. Watch all out-of-market regular season games live, plus get a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. First pitch to Segura. 99. When we saw Martez earlier this year in the rotation for the Astros, he had command problems all over the place. Pretty lively arm, though.
He has a great arm. Good curveball tonight too. The curveball that he threw to Heredia, tremendous.
Maben, the new center fielder, curls in front of the track. That ends the inning. Side set down 1-2-3 by Martez. On to the 8th. Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Money Tree, proud to make a donation to Mariners Care for every Mariners win. By Jack in the Box, come try the new Smoky Jack Burger or Chicken Sandwich, limited time only. By CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. And by BNSF Railway, sponsor of the BNSF Blast. Good look at some new hardware here at Safeco Field this season. Right outside the home plate entrance. Emilio Pagan will work the 8th.
For Pagan, a 3.24 ERA, 24 appearances for him, 43 strikeouts, over 7 walks. Typically has good command. Opponents hitting 219. His fastball 94, 95 miles an hour. Pretty good slider.
Correa fouls off the first pitch. Well located, 1-2. Now, some good news for the Mariners. The Angels and the Rangers losing today. Although the Rangers did split a doubleheader, washed out the other night in Atlanta. Down by the foul pole, this hooks. High the opposite way, Haniger just in front of the track. Tell you what, Mike, as you look around baseball right now, this final month, and we've talked at length about starting pitching, how difficult it has been to find quality starting pitching. The Angels coming to town on Friday night. They have 3 starters on the disabled list. They have been searching for the same thing. Doug Fister, a quality start tonight for the Red Sox. 7 innings again. That sinker has been sinking. The curveball has been fantastic as well, as Reddick pokes this into left field. The Angels had Fister pitching in AAA, had an opt-out. They didn't bring him up, so of course he opted out, picked up by the Red Sox. Was in the bullpen with Boston when we saw them earlier this year. Has since been moved to the rotation. You talk about a find for a team that is holding the Yankees off at arm's distance.
And sometimes you have to have that. Diaz, Pazos both getting loose in the pen for the Mariners. You have to find somebody along the way if you can. Now, that being said, with what the Mariners have had to go through, they've had to find a lot of somebodies. It's been difficult with all the pitching that they've had to look at this year, but every now and then get a guy, and you know, for Dougie, a lot of people thought that he was probably done, and here he is.
Some with the Astros was throwing at best mid-80s.
Yeah.
Gurriel again with plenty of pop. 0-2. Go ahead run for the Astros at first base. That's Reddick. Mariners took the lead in the bottom of the 6th. It was Cano who tied it up. Then Haniger, the RBI single up the middle. A short-lived lead as the Astros tied it up in the 7th. Springer with 2 outs. Heredia charging in quickly, keeps his feet, and he makes the catch. 2 down. Make your voice heard. Nominate your favorite plays of the week by tweeting us using the hashtag #RootFanFave. Each month, one lucky fan will win a Coors Light mini fridge just for participating. For official rules, visit rootsports.com.
Marwin Gonzalez, talked about him at the beginning of the game, what a year he is having, and a pretty good night too. A couple of hits, both of them doubles.
A guy once known simply as the man who broke up Yu Darvish's perfect game with 2 outs in the 9th inning has become much more than that. We have not seen Chris Stavinsky in this series. Mike, interesting that we see Stavinsky warming with Gonzalez at the plate. I think you can make the case that A.J. Hinch has the 2 most versatile players at their position in the American League. What Davinsky can do in relief and what we've already covered, Gonzalez can do defensively and anywhere you can put him. We've seen him at 3 different positions in this series.
Yeah, you mentioned Davinsky, and he can go out and pitch 2-3 innings for you, maybe 4, and close a game for you if you need him to.
Heredia cut it across. Now back a couple of steps. And that ends the top of the 8th. That single by Reddick goes no further. Out of the home half, Mariners a chance to take the lead.
Tom Glasgow with you from the Forward Sports Desk. A little more hashtag Where I Root presented by Alaska Airlines. Oh, what do we have this time around? Frankie good enough to send this in. Celebrating a bit of an anniversary. Their first Mariners game together a year ago. Hope you're enjoying the game tonight. Nancy Newton knows how to do it at Safeco Field. Get a nice frosty beverage and hopefully see a Mariners win tonight. And Aaron Gray, kind of hard to see, but little Ms. Gray right there. She got herself a Taylor Modern Guillermo Heredia autograph tonight. Back to Aaron and Mike.
Thank you, Tom. Shift is on for Alonso going after the first pitch from Martez. Alonso, Cano, Cruz. Here in the bottom of the 8th, all tied at 3.
Martez, we've seen him top out at 99 miles an hour, a couple of off-speed pitches so far to Alonso. Huge gap in left center field. You can see Maven, the center fielder, shading to right. The shift on the infield.
Low and inside. Now 3-1. Cano tied this game up at 2 back in the 6th inning. Breaks his bat. Watch out on deck. Springer underneath it. Boy, how far that ball might have gone had that bat stayed intact.
And that'll bring up Cano. Base hit, drove in a run his last time up. 1 for 2 in the game.
Breaking ball 1 at 95. Robbie on base twice tonight. Now 10 hits his last 5 games, including this one, and a home run shy of number 300. Pulls this quickly, but foul. You know, when number 300 comes for Robbie, he will join a very elite group. He will be the 35th player all time. 300 homers, 500 doubles. A milestone he reached earlier this year. That list grows minuscule when you consider guys who have played his position. I bet. You're talking, he would be the 3rd. Jeff Kent, and then just the other day, Rogers Hornsby. He is the go-ahead run. Oh my goodness, 96. You know, Robbie somehow looks cool even when getting pelted by some pretty serious heat, but that cannot feel good.
No, and it's kind of scary because the Mariners cannot afford to lose him at all. And we'll see where it goes. 96 miles an hour. A hit on the heel of his shoe. Yeah, he definitely is going to feel that one. Let's stay in the game. It's a good sign.
One out and one on for Cruz. Iron strike 1. Now Robbie is not an easy guy to score from first base, especially on one heel. Oh, 2.
Well, Nelson tried to make it so that he could jog around the bases, but that swing, high fastball, borderline at the top of the strike zone. What an aggressive swing.
One out, one on. The 0-2. You start talking about close games, late in games, bullpen and defense, and you look out at that Astros outfield right now. And a lot of opponents have been saying this about the Mariners outfield all season long, but this is a pretty tough outfield. Reddick has moved to left. Maben has come off the bench and is in center. Springer, who began there in center field, is now in right. Still 1-2.
And he had a pretty good swing at that breaking ball. A number of fastballs that have been in the middle of the plate. Just throwing hard. He's been 95 to 97 miles an hour in this at bat. He's topped out at 99. That last breaking ball probably belt high out over the plate. Maybe even to the outside corner.
Centeno goes over a couple of things. Now back behind home. Mariners looking for their first hit against Martez, who came in the 7th. Not here. 95-mile-an-hour fastball for out number 2.
And A.J. Hinch quickly out of the dugout. Kyle Seager due up. But right on the outside corner, just above the belt.
Two outs, Cano at first after being hit by the pitch. Davinsky coming in. Two outs, a man aboard, bottom of the 8th for the Mariners, all tied at 3. I want to win tickets to Robinson Cano Bobblehead Night? Just text Cano to 71532 and you could win 2 tickets in the commissioner's box, plus your very own Robbie bobblehead. Cano testing that heel out a little bit after being hit by 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Here is Chris Davinsky taking over on the mound.
54 appearances on the year, a 2.5 ERA, 90 strikeouts in 72 innings, and opponents hitting just 166 against him. Good fastball at 94, change-up slider.
You mentioned that changeup. That probably plays a large role of lefties hitting 115 against Davinsky this year.
Left-handers, he will throw his changeup more than his fastball.
Just missing for ball 1. Davinsky an all-star this year. Out to left field, but not deep enough. Reddick camps underneath it to make the catch. Cano stranded. We are off to the 9th, tied at 3.
The Ford Sports Desk. Tell you what, it is a busy night for hashtag Where I Root, presented by Alaska Airlines. More photos to show you. Here's what we have from Estonia. The Martins cheering on the Mariners. Hope you folks are having a terrific trip there. Mr. and Mrs. Something, rather unique name. All right, they're hanging out here at Safeco Field for the finale of this 3-game series. And Tanner Nicole cheering on the M's from the happiest place on earth. Well, I thought that was Safeco Field. All right, we'll go with Disneyland for now. Back upstairs.
All right, thank you, Tom. We go to the 9th inning. All tied. Edwin Diaz up on the mound for the Mariners.
Well, a pretty good fastball, 97 miles an hour for Edwin. 58 appearances on the year, 79 strikeouts and 58 in the third. Opponent's hitting just 180 against him. His fastball 95 to 100. Hard slider.
Beltran into left field, into the corner. Leadoff double. Go ahead run in scoring position.
And again, another fastball inside out swing from the veteran in Beltran. Able to barrel up, hits it hard. Kyle Seager well off the line. Jake Marisnick going to pinch run for him.
Beltran making his way to the bench with Marisnick taking over. Beltran from Puerto Rico, of course, Edwin Diaz as well. And Edwin and Carlos as well. Carlos has a number of academies in Puerto Rico. Centeno showing bunts. Appealing, he goes. 0-1. But Hurricane Irma, good news there. The eye of that hurricane missing Puerto Rico. That does not mean damage has not been done. But Edwin, last talking to his family yesterday before all communication cut off on the island, phone lines down, nothing but silence on the other end. Irma, a Category 5 storm. 0-2. First time seeing Marisnick this series.
A couple of sliders, a little bit tougher for him to try to bunt. When he comes up here 0-2.
Another one, chops it foul. Marisnick, very good speed. The go-ahead run at second. Marisnick taken up to third. Segura throws to first. Some bold base running there by Marisnick.
And just looking at it, because Segura had to come in on the ground ball, I'm guessing he probably did not have an angle to get the ball to third base. He thought about it. Would have been a close play. As Aaron mentioned, Marisnick runs well, and he looked at it and decided to go to first, get the sure out. Would have been a tough play. Now the Mariners have to bring their infield in.
Now Maben stung the Mariners last night. Here's hoping the same does not repeat itself this evening. Chasing back. This is by the pole. It is fair. It is gone. Wow. Back-to-back nights. Maben gets the Mariners.
Both time 2-run home runs.
That's some kind of waiver claim.
Gets a fastball. It's going to be in the middle of the plate. He was trying to hit it the other way. It was just a late swing that he ended up catching it on the barrel.
Strike one to Springer. Hard hit up the middle. Goes up the middle at 101. 3 of the first 4 men have reached base with a hit. Back to the home run, Mike.
Again, for Maben, it's going to be a fastball running in on his hands, more to the middle of the plate. Hits right off the foul pole. Able to keep it fair. Situations when a fastball that can touch 100 miles an hour, it's a hitter. If you can just find a way to get the barrel to it, even though it's a late swing, you have a chance to drive the baseball. And that's certainly the case with Maben.
Interesting here. We've seen the last 2 nights, Mike. You want no part of Ken Giles right now. Giles nearly an immaculate inning in the 9th yesterday. We know the Davinsky versatility that we were talking about. Nobody stirring inside the bullpen for the Astros. Springer taken off. This bounces to Seager. 2 down.
Back to what you were talking about. I think A.J. Hinch is comfortable with Davinsky.
Certainly looks that way tonight. He's done it before. Diaz had not given up a run this year to the Astros until now, as he pours in a 100-mile-an-hour strike.
Throwing a lot of strikes. 13 pitches, 12 strikes. He's at 100 a couple of times.
Haniger cut it across to make the catch. Ends the inning, but damage dealt. Maben homering back-to-back games, both times critical go-ahead blast. Mariners down to their final 3 outs.
Maben had the big 2-run home run last night to break up the no-hit bid, and then just knocking one out of the park, another 2-run shot. And the Astros with the 2-run lead as we get ready for the bottom of the ninth. Mitch Haniger is going to lead things off. On the way on Mariners postgame presented by Alaska Airlines. We're going to get you up to date on the wild card race. We'll hear from the skipper, Scott Service, reaction from the clubhouse, and we'll preview the weekend series with the Angels. That and more on Mariners postgame presented by Alaska Airlines. Up to Aaron and Mike.
I thank you, Tom. Davinsky firing home to Haniger, strike one.
Haniger, Gamble, Zunino, 2 up. Mitch came up with a big base hit back in the 6th inning and drove in a run.
The 2-2. Davinsky, who when he was in single A ball pitched a 16 strikeout no-hitter. I don't care if that's in Little League.
I agree.
On the ground, and it splits the shift. Mariners bring the tying run to the plate.
Able to stay away from the changeup on a couple different occasions that were down. He gets himself a fastball at 95. You see they had the shift on. Able to pick up the base hit.
Gamble the tying run, nobody out, bottom of the 9th inning. Looks at strike one. Chopping to Correa, a sidestep to second. Mariners down to their final out.
The catcher, Mike Zunino.
It lies in the bat of Mike Zunino. The Mariners began this homestand sweeping aside the Oakland A's in 3 games and now are an out away from being swept by the Astros. One ball and 1 strike. Centeno chasing after this. Over the screen. Mariners led this game through 6. They were up 3-2. A 2-run 6th inning. Cano tied it. Haniger put him ahead. But then Astros tied into the 7th, and then Cameron Maybin, who did not start this game, off the foul pole in right field off of Diaz, a 2-run homer. And a quality start by that man, Andrew Moore, the 4th consecutive quality start for the Mariners.
They really threw the ball well. They throw a lot of strikes. Good changeup tonight.
A day off tomorrow, Mike. Will not be an easy series against the Angels. This was a tough one, though, against the Astros, the winningest team in the league, and they're showing why.